In this lesson, we want to talk a little bit about the Workset dialog box and then start to talk about some of the display and visibility graphics outside of the display modes here. So if we go back into our Workset dialog box that we've been looking at, we see that we've talked about this. These are the Workset names. Okay, editable or not, and by the way, you can go shift click on here and just hit this editable button, and that will let you do that. Okay, so I stumbled upon that. Sometimes when you get in front of the camera or the rolling here and the recording, you forget little things. So editable, yes or no, and you can pick more than one, and you can say editable or not editable over here. Okay, these are the owners of them. Okay, I can relinquish those and make them non-editable by going into here. And what happens if I hit non-editable? Boom. That relinquishes them all, and I should also synchronize after I do that. Okay, click out. Owner says who's own it. Borrowers means someone's borrowed something from that work set. Open means it's visible, which means it'll help you if you don't need to see something. You can click on a bunch of these objects here and say close. And then boom, you just won't see them, and for whatever reason your model will go faster now if you actually close it. So closing or opening the work set actually turns it on or off, and also makes your computer go faster if you don't have them open. So you can do multiple opening and closing. So if you want to do one at a time, you can pick on the pick list, or you can use multiple selection and use your buttons open, close, editable, non-editable. You can you can rename by going into here. You have to make it editable first. So if you make it editable, then you can rename it. Okay, so I'm going to rename. Revit cannot rename the workset interior partitions because it has just been made editable. Close and reopen the worksets dialog to rename the workset. Interesting. Hit OK. Close. Okay, go back in and open it again. Pick on interior partitions. Now it's going to let me rename it. Partition, one word. That's it. And then close it. And then I would need to synchronize that. Make it non-editable. Hit OK. And then I need to synchronize. Okay, we'll go over and see what Bob's been doing. Borrowed elements, sure. Okay, so now I can go over in Bob, and Bob's going to get out of his display settings, and he's going to go and synchronize. He's going to also relinquish his borrowed elements, and he's going to go in the dialog box here, and he's going to see that partitions has been renamed interior partition. Shared levels and grids, he still has that checked out. If I go non-editable, it allows that to get back, make it editable again. Okay, next, so that's open and closed, basically turns it on and off, and is good for resources on your computer to close the ones that you don't need to see. Now this one, visible in all views, is the global setting, which means that unless you turn that work set off specifically in the view, we're going to show you the visibility graphics in a second here. This basically says that that work set globally is visible in all views. If you turn it off, then what happens is in all views by default it's not on, and then you have to go turn it on in the ones you want. So this is a global switch. Show this work set in all the views, don't show it in any of the views. Outside of that, okay, so let's so that's fine. We can globally turn them on and off. Okay, we'll come back to this. Now watch. Each individual view, okay, we can go into any view we want in the project. Okay, we go into our visibility graphics, and guess what? We have work sharing. We haven't even looked at this, right? Worksets. Well, there's all the worksets in this view. Well, I can, in per view, just like everything else in Revit, it says use global setting visible, which means that globally there's a check mark on doors and windows. But in this one view, I can say hide it or show it, which means show or hide will override that checkbox. Okay, by default, if you say go with the global setting, okay, the global setting here is this. So if the global setting is on for all of them, then they'll all be on and you can turn them off. I could set the global setting for exterior walls to be off. Okay, globally in any view, right? They're off. They just disappeared here, which means that now I need to go back into my visibility graphics per view, go into here, and doors and exterior walls, well, it's using the global setting, which is set to be non-visible. Oh, I'm sorry. In this one view, I want them to show. Hit apply, hit OK. So it's overriding that global setting. In the meantime, if I go to this one, my exterior walls are gone. So then I would have to go into my visibility graphics, go over to my Worksets, and say I want this to show. Everywhere else, it's turned off. Okay, at any point I can actually go back in here and say, you know what, turn them all back on again. This means that if it says follow the global setting, it's on and every view. And if I turn this off and the view is set to be follow the global setting, then it'll be off. And when you it'll ask you that question sometimes when you make a work set. Do you want it visible in all views? And if you say yes, it turns this on, but you can turn it off anytime. Globally on in every view, globally off in every view. And then from there, you go to each and every view, and then you have your choice of going into your visibility graphics and going up in here and turning it so that it follows the global setting, is showing or hiding to override that. So there's a little bit more information on the visibility of work sets on a global level as well as on a per view level.